Hello and welcome to the very first SoulTreat show. I'm Anna Pereira, the founder of the Wellness Universe, and with me, moderating this panel of lovely ladies today is the beautiful
Sherry Elise. That's weird to say your name after someone says beautiful. Hi, I'm Sherry Elise, and I am the co-founder of the Wellness Universe, and we are super excited to have you here.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining us, and everyone who's just joined us live. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule, and more. Thank you for you being good to you, for allowing this time to help you on your journey to being your best in wholeness, in health, in wellness, and well-being, by knowing that you're here to receive what you need to release what holds you back. And with that, I want to let you know the goal of this show actually is to tell you a little bit about our wonderful panelists, which Sherry will introduce in a few minutes, Jennifer, Ashley, Realin, and Rosemary, because these wonderful ladies are going to be facilitating workshops and experiences at the wonderful SoulTreat in Sedona, Arizona. And so we've organized this show to introduce you to these amazing women, because on the very first day of SoulTreat, it's all about releasing what doesn't serve you. And I want to say thank you for showing up here, because you're showing how brave you are in knowing that we all have stuff that we carry. We all have stuff that gets in the way of us being our best, from achieving our goals. We have all of these desires for ourselves, and then the years go by, things happen in life, environments change, and then we don't really address the things that may have, created a belief set in ourselves or a pattern that we're doing. And I want to say thank you for showing up and being brave enough to know that you're here to learn that it is these things that subconsciously and consciously hold us back from being our best selves, that create those fears, that create those issues in our lives, self-sabotaging tendencies, negative patterns. And, we know that you want to get rid of them. So that's why we're here today. And also, I just want to let you know that all of these wonderful ladies are part of the wellnessuniverse.com. And the wellnessuniverse.com is your community for health, wellness, wholeness, and total well-being, where you connect with real people who have heart-centered practices and services to help you live your best life. And with that, Sherry, you want to introduce our lovely panelists?
I do, but first I would like to let everybody know that this entire panel is all about you. As Anna said, we thank you for showing up, but this is your opportunity to be able to ask questions and for our wellness experts here to be able to address them for you. So it's not just about listening, and learning. It's really interactive, and we want you to be prepared to ask whatever question you have. If you do not want to ask it live, right at the top under everybody's names where it says messages, it says public chat. You can actually private message either Anna, which is listed as the Wellness Universe, or myself, and you can send us the question privately, and we will ask it aloud for you without your name. So just so you know, this is a very safe space. It's an inclusive space, and we are all here for you. So with that said, I am excited to introduce our Wellness Universe World Changers, experts, SoulTreat panelists with you. So as I say your name, please raise your hand. Our first wellness expert is Realin Sandin. Realin lives in Mesa, Arizona, and her focus is empowering individuals in self-discovery, healing, and transformation. Realin's own lived experiences of childhood trauma and neglect led her on a lifelong quest of self-exploration, understanding, and deep healing work. Through her journey, she has been led to the compassionate practice of Usui Reiki, the insight of hypnosis and meditation, and the reconciliation of Ho'oponopono. Each practice has led her to deeper insight, understanding, and healing of her own and her generational inherited wounds, which has empowered her toward authentic connection with her own soul. She works one-on-one, hosts workshops, and helps people virtually. Her experience and some of her credentials include a BS in psychology. She's an Usui Reiki master and teacher. She's a hypnotherapist, and she's, just to kill me, a Ho'oponopono practitioner. Welcome, Realin.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Welcome, Realin.
Thank you.
Now I don't need to say it. Ho'oponopono. Next, we have the fabulous Rosemary Levesque. And Rosemary lives in Portland, Oregon. She is the owner and founder of Second Nature Healing. Rosemary helps set the standard for spiritual growth for lightworkers and offers in-person and online courses for lightworkers on their journey. Throughout the years of working with energy, animal guides, nature, and healing, spirit manifests itself within to remind us of the foundational practices of our ancestors. Today, Rosemary brings to life ancient wisdom for the modern world. She incorporates shamanic practices in her intuitive Reiki classes and healing sessions, as well as her life's work to remind us how to be in the world, to heal old wounds in our Akashic records, and access the power within all that is. Her experience and credentials include Usui, Tibetan Reiki Master, Karuna Reiki Master, Shaman, Certified Vibrational Sound Master Teacher, Illuminated Light Worker Master Teacher, Language of Light Master, Animal Communicator. Welcome, Rosemary. Happy to have you here.
Thank you. Welcome, Rosemary.
Next, we have Ashley Marie Schroeder. Ashley Marie resides in Austin, Texas, and is on her journey to pursue her passion of opening a wellness co-working social club based on self-care. Currently, she is facilitating wellness events around Austin while the space is being built. Prior to packing up everything she owned, leaving her family, and moving down south, Ashley Marie was a corporate wellness director for Hyatt Hotels. She knew that she was made for more and that her passion spoke louder than the role she was currently in. She wanted to feel fulfilled in her career and became an entrepreneur, helping others live their best lives. Wellness is her favorite topic and loves helping others live a life centered on the mind, body, and soul. She thrives on coaching others to let go of their insecurities and form healthy relationships. Certified in over 10 fitness formats, ACE Health Coach, NASM Certified Personal Trainer, and has her degree in business marketing. Welcome, Ashley Marie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And lastly, but certainly not least, Jennifer Whitaker. Jennifer Whitaker is located in Columbus, Ohio. Jennifer is an empowerment strategist and host of Yes and podcast. She works with clients who are ready to create empowerment through self-awareness so they can stop sabotaging themselves, find inner peace, and finally get what they want out of life. She helps you truly understand yourself. By becoming aware of your own subtle, self-sabotaging thoughts and behaviors, she guides you to discover the seeds that created those patterns in the first place. By getting to the root of the issue, you'll gain a new awareness of how your own patterns of thought, behavior, emotion, and perception are really what's holding you back in life, so you can finally trust yourself, feel empowered and confident in your own decisions. Jennifer is qualified in these areas and uses them to help her clients. Somatic experiencing, compassionate inquiry, heart math coach and mentor, myofascial release therapy, craniosacral therapy, neurolinguistic programming, Reiki, subtle energy and therapeutic touch, energy psychology, energy medicine, shamanism, and aromatherapy. Please welcome again, Jennifer Gardner.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for everybody being here. So as you guys can see, we have a well-rounded panel of amazing women, of wellness experts, of people here who are really qualified to help you release and live your best life.
Yeah, thank you, ladies. Really honored to be in your presence. I mean, there is just a spectrum of diverse backgrounds here. And I just want to say how I feel that all of you are qualified to help all of our live audience members, as well as anyone who's watching this recording. And of course, during our event at SoulTreat in Sedona, to help them release the crap that is holding them back. And I'll just put it that way, bluntly, it's crap. We don't need it. It's garbage. It's trash. We need to get rid of it. We need to dump it like it's, you know, yesterday's news, out the door. So with that said, I just want to say that this is the very first SoulTreat show, and it's all about releasing. I alluded to this at the beginning, and I just want to say how powerful of a tool it is. And a service you're doing to yourself when you release, and you're brave enough to show up for yourself to release what it is that doesn't serve you. Because when you release what it is that doesn't serve you, you're facing your biggest fear, essentially. So that takes a lot. It takes a lot of braveness, because now you're stepping into the unknown, because you've been operating from a space of habit. You've been operating from a space of being comfortable, even though it creates discomfort and dis-ease in your life. And releasing the things, whether you know them to be what holds you back or not. And they could be attached to your ancestral lineage. They could be energetically on you. They could be things that are part of what you engage in every single day, and you really don't even realize that it's what's holding you back, to the things that you do know that hold you back, like the habits that we have. And then digging deeper kind of scares us, right? It kind of scares us to not go to that comfort zone of the things that we're used to doing. But we know that by staying there, it's holding us back from being our greatest selves. So that's why it was really important to Sherry and myself to create SoulTreat, the event in Sedona, as well as this particular show, to invite you into the world of these amazing experts, and just a smidgen, a dabble into how you can help yourself to live your best life and face those fears and identify what it is that is in your way of being your best. Because we want you to show up for you. We want you to live your best life, because when you live your best life, you're being an inspiration for others. You're living your best life to experience your best self, and you're going to give the best version of yourself to those who you love, those who you care for, and you're going to make the world a better place, and you're going to become an inspiration. So really, that's the essence of even being here on earth. I mean, why else are we here, right? It's to experience life in its fullest potential, and that's what we want for you. So, Sherry, did you want to add to that, or did I kind of?
No, I can always add to everything. You know that.
Of course you can. So, please do.
No, I was just going to, I was going to say, for many years, and then I want to ask all of our panelists here, because this is what it was. For many years, I wasn't living my best life, as a lot of us. And what I used to blame it on was, I would say things like, oh, it's this dark cloud that follows me everywhere, or I have bad luck. Why do all these people, why do they all treat me this way? Why do these things show up for me? And it wasn't until I finally came to the understanding and saw, oh, maybe it isn't all of them out there. Maybe the common denominator here could be me. And in that recognition and that acknowledgement of that, that's when the door started to open for me. That's when healing began. And that's when things started to pop up and show up for me. And that's when I realized, oh, I have a lot of stuff that I've been carrying around through my lifetime that I wasn't even aware of. And so with that said, for me, I just wanted to share that acknowledgement of that maybe there's something there was number one towards healing. And so I would like to just talk to the panel here and ask each of them individually what you believe could be, whether it is acknowledgement or whether what it is that you believe, how people recognize that they're holding on to something, or the biggest, or even, why do we not recognize it? What is the barrier to, releasing? Why is it so hard for us? Whomever wants to answer any of those three questions I threw out in one.
I'll go ahead and take a stab at it. So one of the things that I believe has to happen, and it happens at different points in times for each of us, different points in time, is the aha moment. So the acknowledgement for me came with an aha moment. And it's one of those things like I recognized it in my family, and I've talked to my sister about it. Like I've told my sister things that I've been doing to help heal myself, heal trauma, some of it that she shares because we grew up in the same household. And she'll come back and, say, oh, I ran into so-and-so at the grocery store and she said, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? This makes so much sense to me. And I'm like, I've been telling you this for 5 years. So it's not just the passing on of information. It's like I was passing the information, but it wasn't until that moment that she ran into this random person never met before, that the aha moment happens. So there's a felt sense to the aha moment, and we can't control that in others. And I believe that with the somatic work that I've learned to do and the way that I work with clients, like especially the somatic experiencing and the compassionate inquiry and the shamanism, those three things combined can help you recreate the aha moments for yourself, because it's helping people get in touch with their emotions and sensations. And the one of the things I'm going to talk about at my workshop at SoulTreat is what compassion really is, and to help people get just their feet wet and get started with the very beginnings of a practice of self-compassion, because it's separating the meaning that you gave to events and the story that you tell yourself from what actually happened. And that story that we tell ourselves, we get so attached to that meaning that we hang on to it. I have clients that come in my office and I'll say, how are you feeling today? Well, they'll tell me at an event and they'll say, I feel really rejected, or I feel really abandoned. Abandonment is not a feeling, nor is rejection. So the next question is, how does your body experience rejection? Like, what do you feel, or what emotion comes up that you translate as rejection, or that you translate or give meaning as abandonment? And that I can work with, but I'm not going to listen to your story. So yeah. So, but it's helping to get below that perception, can help get to that feeling. And then you can go in and start to work with yourself and create your own aha moments and go into self-healing.
I'd like to piggyback on that if I could. Thank you, Jennifer. That was absolutely spot on. You know, and I believe that it starts in those moments where we feel such great discomfort in our lives. You know, when we take the awareness of, like Sherry, you talked about, why is this happening to me? Why does this keep showing up? What's going on? What about them? I think all of that is good information and valid information for us to begin to hear and receive what it is that our life experiences are trying to communicate to us. We are here to heal. We're here to experience the full range of human emotion, and that includes pain and suffering, right? Those contrasts teach us just as much as joyful, lovely celebration moments in our life. And Jennifer, you were talking about, I don't want to hear your story. Some of the work that I do, and Sherry, it's funny that you were having a difficult time with it, but the Hawaiian ritual of reconciliation, Ho'oponopono, as well as Native American.
Says it all perfectly, doesn't she?
No, well, it's with a lot of practice, let me tell you.
I know.
But and Native American rituals too, that said that, you know, you can come into the tribal council and share your upset, share your discomfort, whatever that may be, 3 times. And after the 3rd time, if you come again, they turn their backs and they refuse to allow the individual to sit and wallow in it, right? Ho'oponopono is the same way. It operates on that community, that village of the kahuna, bringing everybody to the center, and every single person has a responsibility in whatever upset is showing up for an individual. And every person speaks to that upset from their lens, from their perspective. And our attachment to our stories, we try to ascribe meaning to everything that comes into our world, right? And so we can get hooked on the stories. Somebody looks at us and immediately we're going, oh, she's evaluating my hair. Oh, well, who does she think she is? Look at that gnarly stuff that she's wearing, or, you know, whatever. And then we get really, really flipped around and we start to believe something that isn't true. Well, with Ho'oponopono and, you know, Jennifer, similar to you, some of the other work that I do, I've studied a lot of Byron Katie and her work and her curiosity. And I'll be sharing some of that stuff in my inner child workshop, but it's through the willingness to take a look at what it is that is showing up in our lives. We are the common denominator. We are everywhere we are. And in every experience that we have, we're there. And so if we have that willingness, even a smidge, to allow us to take a look at what's happening in our lives and evaluate that with objectivity, and really really listen and pay attention to the stories that we are swirling around in our head and believing about something, then we can make the headway. Then we can come and merge out of it. So, yes, I'll open up.
Thank you, Realin. I just wanted to mention that just the panel is supposed to be on camera with us. So Jennifer W. and Ricky, if you can close your cameras down, thank you. I just wanted to jump in here for 1 minute, and there's two things that I wanted to mention. Jennifer, while you were speaking, and before Ashley and Rosemary, we hear from you, because I can't wait, because this has become a very dynamic conversation. Jennifer, I want to say something that you said really resonated with me, because the aha moment didn't come for me to break up with an ex-boyfriend of mine that I was with for 3 years of my life, until I actually had this conversation with one of my friends, one of my casual girlfriends, that she was just having conversation with me, and just something she said at the time she said it was the trigger for me to be like, yep, this is going nowhere. And I think that it's really important for our audience to understand, and us too. I mean, we're still human and we still go through this, and we don't realize sometimes when we're in the middle of repeating and repeating and repeating something until a catalyst walks into our life.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody comes in and they're the car that's going through, the intersection, and makes a stop. And right now, I want everyone just to take a moment to understand the gravity of what it is to have someone interject into your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you allow it to happen, number one, where you're open to hear really the solutions to your problems and be confronted with what can be. So, Jennifer, I wanted to say thank you for that. And Realin, I love the fact that you said that you can only, talk about your issue like 3 times, and then after that, you're, no more.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah, we need more of that in our society, I believe. The rumination is kind of where I lived for many, many years, just swirling it around. And, we often say that we don't like something, we don't want something, et cetera, but look at what our actions are, and our actions will always speak to exactly where we are in our mental, emotional, and spiritual state. If we are hanging on to it and we're swirling it around like a glass of wine, getting those legs on it and smelling it and sniffing it and owning it and swallowing it all the time and just thinking about it and talking about it constantly, that's where our pain and our suffering lies. And that compassionate inquiry that Jennifer talks about, and the work that Byron Katie and many others do, gets us out of that track, off of that loop, because we actually get to look at the situation and go, oh crap, it really is me creating my own pain and suffering.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love the analogy to the glass of wine, because the story is just as addictive as the alcohol.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. Well, the story allows you to, keep sitting in it.
Yes.
Yes.
And, it's the blame for you. It's the blame for you. And that leads, I'm just curious for you ladies, why do you think that people are so afraid to let go of that story, to release that?
I think from my own personal experience is because it's hard, right? It's stepping out of their comfort zone. It's doing something that may not come naturally for them. And to go back to your very first question that you asked, Sherry, in my experience in the wellness industry as being a personal trainer and being involved with people moving their bodies, is 2 things. One, they're usually coming to me personally because they have hit rock bottom. So going back to not living your best self, right? You just keep, going through the motions every day until finally you hit your version of rock bottom. And then now you come to that fruition where it's like, oh, shoot, I need to make a change. Or going back to Realin's point, you just keep going in circles. You're still holding that glass of wine and you're drinking it, and it's not good for you, but you're just going to continue to live that facade. So from my own personal experience is, again, people are coming to me when they've either you know, are extremely overweight or extremely depressed, or their health has hit such a brick wall that they have nowhere to go but to seek out help. And I think that resonates with all of us here as wellness professionals. Is a lot of times people do come to us where it's that very last straw, where there's nowhere else to go, you know, whether they're coming in off of an addiction, or even maybe we're in a jail sentence, or again, overweight or whatever it is. And now it's finally like, okay, I need your help. And what we're trying to do here with this retreat and come together as professionals to help people is we want to get to that before it's too late, right? We want to help people before it's the point of no return, before they hit their rock bottom, before they're losing their husbands or wives or family members, etc. We want to come in and step in before it's too late. And far too often people aren't wanting to invest in themselves, right? And they're not willing to spend the money on these type of retreats, or go hire a personal trainer, or go hire a healer, etc., because they don't feel like it's necessary, because they're drinking that wine and they're stirring the glass instead of actually taking care of themselves before we hit that rock bottom. So that's been my experience.
Thank you, Ashley. Powerful. Yes.
If I may share
Rosemary.
now, a very big, complicated topic is my opinion on this, and I'd like to touch upon two concepts: pain and numbness. Because very often we live our lives in a state of sort of numbness. We're numb about some things, but numbness comes after the deepest pain. It's the way that the body hides pain. And so many of us here are aware of that, the pain that we experience from hearing the words that don't resonate with us, criticism or belittling, or whatever those words are, or perhaps an experience, a traumatic experience or an injury. All of those things are painful and remembered by every cell in the body. Not only are these things remembered by every cell in the body, but they are remembered for generations. They are remembered throughout lifetimes. And so we hold on to these vibrations in every aspect of who we are. And so we express ourselves either in pain or in numbness. The numbness is unaware of the pain. And that's how we are able to live our lives, how we are able to function until we have that aha moment, until we begin to wake up and say, wait a minute, I don't want to be numb anymore, but it hurts too much to remember. And for some people, well, for a lot of people, I don't recommend remembering. It hurts. It hurts to remember. And this is where I believe energy healing in all different modalities can be such a benefit, because you don't have to consciously remember in order for the healing to happen. Now, I remember one experience in particular where I don't remember why this client came to see me, but she was on my table. We were going to do some sound healing and Reiki and aromatherapy, and I mixed everything together. And all of a sudden, I had this image of somebody underwater. And I asked her what her relationship to water was. And she started to cry because she remembered time when she was 8 years old, and she fell off the sailboat into the water. Her father went in to save her, and he was able to save her, but he drowned. He drowned. And I had other information come through on this experience, but in that remembering for her, she didn't tell me any of this. her body remembered it. Her soul remembered it. She had gone through years of therapy of some kind, and it was still hiding in her body. It had not healed yet. So, but her father also came through with more messages for her, which I hope assisted her in her healing. Ultimately, we don't know, as practitioners, we just don't know how deep our healing that we are offering goes. It may be that one session in the moment is enough to vibrate loose something that was stuck. So or it could be many sessions. I'm of the opinion that one is pretty good. If you're doing authentic work that is integrative, and you can do a lot in one session. And I like people to have some time to integrate that before coming back. But at SoulTreat, we're going to be working with sound, especially because sound is the original energy. First there was the word, then the word became flesh, right? So all the things that we're saying were a thought first, they became vocal. I know I'm rambling, but basically the concept of pain and numbness, and we can release some of that pain and activate, kind of shake loose that numbness with sound and other energy healing tools. I'm just excited to be there with you all today. Yeah.
That is fascinating, Rosemary. Sorry, Realin, 1 second. I just want to say I love that. And everyone knows, and Sherry hears all the time, I'm a huge advocate of sound wellness and energy healing and energy clearing, because I know for a fact that, and Sherry and I we were in a constellation once, and I learned some things that happened back to my ancestors, and some I knew, and of course other things like big skeletons in the closet came through that I didn't know. And I'm aware that this is all, imprinted on a cellular level, whether it actually occurred to me directly or through my lineage. And I think it's really, and it's acceptable these days. I mean, I'm not scared to talk about, the spiritual side of healing and energy healing, because I think everything works together, and it is the oldest modality of healing in many cultures, before there were prescription drugs and before there was a textbook methodology. I think that what you bring is incredible, and I love the journey and how you just explain this to us in a way that this is a really resourceful and extraordinary tool to help us release what is stuck. I mean, this story that you just told was, it's terrible. I feel so bad for your client, my God. But I just want to say that it was a really great example, as horrific as a story as it was. It's a really great example of the healing that can take place, and of the pain and the blockage, and what needed to be released was just stuck there forever until you came along with your modality. Again, going back to what I was saying before about Jennifer, unless a catalyst comes in. And all of us here today as healers and as facilitators of wellness and well-being are catalysts in our own way. And, to explore these different modalities is essential, because you never know what's going to be that trigger, that impasse for us to get healed. So thank you, and for explaining about sound wellness. Thank you.
So I know Realin wants to say something, and then after Realin, we have a couple of questions in the chat that I'd love to get to. Realin, go ahead.
Thank you, Rosemary. I love what you were sharing too. Two powerful books that really helped me on my journey were It Didn't Start With You by Mark Wolin and The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk. Two leaders in this arena of ancestral trauma and cellular memory, as well as Dr. Joe Dispenza and the biology of belief, etc. Another leader in that too is Dr. Bradley Nelson, who developed the emotion code therapy. And I recently obtained certification in that as a practitioner as well. And it's powerful. So with all of these modalities and energy healing and emotion code releasing, I've witnessed people releasing generations of pain and suffering and all of that stuff that didn't start with them, that never was theirs, but it kept showing up in their life. One example in the book by Mark Wolin was of a female who came to see him, and she was having issues of wanting to take her own life and kept speaking of just wanting to be vaporized and incinerated. Well, through their therapeutic conversation and curiosity about it, they determined and found out that her grandmother was a Holocaust survivor who had lost her family in the ovens in Auschwitz. So the granddaughter then had that imprint, but the family didn't talk about all of the things that happened and went on with the grandmother and all of that, what she lost and the trauma that she experienced. That didn't need to be, well, it needs to be spoken of, right? But if it's not spoken verbally and expressed and emotions are allowed to get out, then it will go dark and go hidden, and that's where it stays in the cells. And it passed on to the granddaughter. And once they got to the root of that, like Jennifer was speaking of earlier, then she was able to release that and let go of that. And through his compassionate therapy and all of that, she was able to release those thoughts and that cellular memory of being vaporized and incinerated, just like her ancestors were. So very impactful, huge.
I wanted to, because we are actually on the topic of the ancestors, we had gotten, before we get to the questions in the chat, we had gotten a question. We had put a call out for those of you who want to send questions in advance. So we have a question in advance, and this one came in for Rosemary. And it says, Rosemary, I have seen online the descriptions by hypnotherapists of ancestors making themselves known during a therapy session. Those of us of African descent have ancestors who were kidnapped and enslaved. Many of those ancestors are disturbed spirits who are not at peace, thus the need for healing for an entire ancestral lineage. I am the descendant of slaves. Also, I am aware of having been a slave in past lives. As such, I have a nasty weight and emotional disturbance that I'm treating via craniosacral therapy. Are you aware of other methods for releasing the energy of enslavement?
First of all, thank you for the question. It takes a lot sometimes to verbalize a question, so I appreciate that. This lineage that you are talking about with slavery, we all have that vibration. And it may feel, and I'm not trying to diminish anything at all, but the vibration that you are feeling of enslavement and the emotional trauma you are feeling of enslavement reverberates throughout all lineages, because we are all one. We are all made of the same matter. We are all expressions of all that is. And so healing this predominant aspect of what is coming through for you now in this time, we can certainly use multiple energy tools. My favorites are the ones I use, of course. I like Reiki. I like sound. I like aromatherapy. I like working with crystals as well. Sometimes it's the crystals that are coming through first to set the stage and to create the safe space. And working with your guides who are coming through, it's not just the memory of your ancestors, but it's all the angels, archangels, shamanic guides, brother eagle, all of those who are coming through, who are supporting you. So the information that comes through intuitively can help jiggle loose a little bit that you don't have to hold on to anymore. So in SoulTreat, I hope you decide to come. You can experience sound healing, and that vibration can happen for you. In some of my personal sessions, I am able to actually ask the questions of how many lifetimes, how many generations are we able to unfold and heal at this time. So it might be you can do a little bit today and maybe a little bit more another day. We don't know. We don't have control over that. It might not all be gone all at once, but it might. So I just want to make you open to the possibility that, yes, to answer your question, multiple tools, and also be aware that this may not be the only thing, that it's not just the idea of slavery. It might be other traumas as well. And you might be numb to those other things for now. And later on, those will be revealed in a safe way, because nobody wants you to feel pain. Spirit does not want you to feel in pain.
Thank you, Rosemary. And we have like 3 or 4 other questions with about 7 or 8 minutes left. So Sherry, did you want to go to Gloria's question?
Sure. So Gloria asked, what is your best advice for letting that suffering go? I can be on a positive track for a while and then boom, pain comes back for some reason. Jennifer?
My answer is a little against the grain on this one. My best advice is not to try to force the suffering to let go. Because if you think about, a lot of times the suffering is the meaning that we gave to something. It's the perception or the story we told ourselves because we came out of childhood, a lot of times from pre-verbal states of childhood where we have all of these sensations and emotions imprinted in our nervous system. And as we grow older and as our cerebral cortex comes online and we have more complex thought processes, we don't understand what to do with these uncomfortable feelings and emotions. So as little kids, we give them meaning. And a lot of times that meaning is I'm not good enough, I'm worthless, I'm stupid. And we bring that into adulthood because how many of us have this, I'm not fill in the blank enough in some way. So what happens, and the problem is the parents in your head. You take the voice of your parents and you put it inside your head. So the more you try to shove the suffering and stuff it down and avoid it, and the more you try to let it go, the more it's going to come back with a vengeance. So think about all those times when you were a kid, when your parents didn't have time because they were too busy working, or your dad was traveling, or, you know, it was just, you got to get out of here because I'm on the computer right now, or I'm doing something. This is more important than you. You're doing that to yourself every time you try to shove that stuff off and let it go. What did you need in that moment when you were a little kid? You needed your parents to embrace you. You needed your parents to accept you and to welcome you. That's what we need to do with our suffering. And whenever you can sit with your own suffering, it's magic how quickly it dissolves, because it's about acceptance and it's about reintegrating those parts into yourself. So it's being able to discern, what do you need to let go? The story you tell yourself is what you need to let go. And when it comes to the actual suffering, it's about accepting and integrating. So being able to discern the two is what I would recommend.
Yeah, and leaning into those feelings, you know, that come up. We so long hide and I like this big word, obfuscate. I can't say, it's hard to say, but we cover over, right? And we mask, like Rosemary was talking about. We numb, we pursue things in life to shop it away, to drug it away, to drink it away, to eat it away, etc., rather than allowing those emotions to move within us and to express out of us. And I love that, you know, it's when we lean into it. And really, like Rosemary said, sometimes we don't have to even know what it is that's coming up. Just feel those feelings. I talk to my clients all the time about journaling and moving through it. I support them with the energy, holding the energy for them, and those modalities that I use. And when they begin to then realize that it's the stories they've created around it, the dialogue, you know, and the thought tracks, then they are surprised at how quickly it is released. Absolutely.
Actually, we're going to move on to that because we want to make sure that everybody gets their question answered, and then we can add. And then I just want to throw this out regarding that, just for everybody to think about the phrase "let it be" instead of "let it go." And I'm not trying to be, but it's one of the easiest things that you can do for yourself. It doesn't make you feel like you're fighting so hard. So Tanya asks, how do you stay positive when you have people around you that continue to dwell and speak on their misfortunes and problems around you?
Can I answer this really quickly?
Sure.
Honestly, because I've had a lot of this in my life, and the only way I've accelerated to where I am right now, and my husband as well, is you really have to sever the ties. And Realin gave you this information before. When people dwell and they pull you down, they start to pull you down. You know, like the old saying is, you put your hand out and you can either pull someone up or they could pull you in. And if you start to get pulled in, you got to let go.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Ashley, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm pretty much piggybacking on exactly what you said is immersing yourself into positive situations. They always say surround yourself around like-minded individuals. That's that's the exact answer to the question. I could have stayed in Chicago and allowed myself to be in a negative environment and live a life that wasn't meant for me, or I could pull myself out of that entire scenario and recreate myself, make new friends, put yourself in new groups, maybe join a new church, whatever it is. But pulling yourself out of those toxic situations or around people that are essentially toxic, even if that means your own family. Maybe that means your friend from high school or childhood that you've known for years. Sometimes you have to weather those storms and start anew, and it can be scary and it's foreign and it's maybe uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, your happiness and your overall wellness is what matters.
And I would just like to throw out there, and it's along the same lines as Realin, because that's what I was thinking, that, oftentimes when you keep attracting, because as I learned, I had to look within and go, why do I keep attracting this?
Mhm.
And it's not that there's anything wrong with you, it's that there might be another level of healing that you need to be able to address. And so it's more of a gift, like going, okay, there's a reason why this is showing up. So maybe just take that time and be able to look a little deeper into that. Without blame, always self-kindness, self-love, and self-compassion.
And again,
Reinforce.
this is why sometimes you need someone to help you facilitate that. Because if you keep looking to the right and they say look somewhere, and you keep looking to the right, to the right, to the right, you're not looking to the left. You need someone to help you say, oh, look to the left. And that's why healers like you have here help you through that. And you've heard the many modalities in which they use as their guide to get you from point A to point B, and have you look to the left so you could see a brand new vision in front of you.
We don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. And for Ricky, years ago, I had a girlfriend tell me when I was wallowing and ruminating in the abuse, and it was abuse on the outside, but also I was really self-abusing myself. Honestly, I internalized it. She told me, she said, I love you so much to tell you I am not going to listen to you keep spinning out and talking about the same thing over and over again unless and until you're ready to get beyond it. And when you're ready to get beyond it, you call me, and I am the first one that will help you out of it. And thank God she did that for me. And that's exactly what I say now. And she's asking about family. I had to step away from my family for years. But now my family, through my own therapy, through all of these healing modalities that I have to practice on myself. And it's called a practice, not a perfection. And then also through Ho'oponopono and emotion code and all of that stuff, I have been able then it's changed my own energy, which has healed myself, but it heals others at the same time. When we move to make those shifts in healing in our life, it moves to heal others. And it's going to bring that stuff up to the surface in their life. You go to get myofascial release, you're sore, your muscles are sore, they've been pulled and pushed and prodded. You're going to have that birthing process, but getting through that birthing process, then you get beyond it. So be brave, my friends.
So we are running out of time because one of you that's here is going to win a ticket to SoulTreat. So stay here for the end for the questions that we were not able to get to. We ask that you go to the class wall where you've registered, and you'll see, and you are able to ask that question on the wall, and one of our experts here will go back, maybe all of them will, and be able to answer that, as well as you can join us in Sedona in November at SoulTreat. For those of you who do not know, SoulTreat is, for our guests, our Wellness Universe friends, is a 2-day full immersion retreat. As you can tell, the first day is all about releasing whatever that is that either consciously or subconsciously, intuitively that there's something to let go of. We have workshops and talks all geared towards that. And then day 2, once you've practiced these modalities. Once people have helped you release, day 2 is all about resetting your soul. And so next week, we're going to have another panel on who are going to talk about the resetting, which basically means filling you up with all of the good stuff, of all the powerful stuff, of all of the healing stuff, so then you can walk out into the world more powerfully, more empowered, more you. So that's very exciting. And then in between these 2 days, we'll have morning vortex walks together in the Red Rocks. There's going to be a morning yoga session. We all break bread together. The first night there is an evening poolside mixer where both of our wellness practitioners and you, our guests, get to all commiserate. Never used that word before, but it sounded right now. We all get to hang out together and just really get to know one another. The thing that we're super excited about SoulTreat is that it's not a conference where people are on stage and you never talk to them again. They do their thing and they're off. This is full on, you spend time with everybody here. So we really encourage you to come and join us at SoulTreat. I want to let you know, I'm going to tell you really briefly a little bit about what each one of our experts here are doing at SoulTreat, what their workshops consist of. Realin is doing transformational work of accessing, exploring, and soothing your inner child self. Using curiosity, observation, and conversation in this workshop, we will be accessing the child self within each of us, bearing compassionate and honest witness to our child self wounds and stories. We can begin the healing process of release and self-reconciliation. Can't wait for that. Jennifer is going to be doing a workshop on releasing stress and tension with self-compassion, as she mentioned. Self-compassion is the antidote to internal suffering, and compassion isn't what you think it is. Learn what compassion really is, common misconceptions that keep you from experiencing compassion, and a process to begin your own practice of self-compassion. When you make self-compassion available to you, life changes. Rosemary will be leading a workshop on healing ancestral and karmic signatures, uncover hidden secrets in your etheric field, ancestral lineage, and physical form that may be holding your life hostage. Then use a variety of vibrational healing tools to set them free. And then lastly, I did not mention this, on day 2, we are having what's called our SoulTreat Fair. And the SoulTreat Fair is a 2-hour fair for our VIP ticket holders. There are only 35 ticket holders, but now we only have half of those tickets left. And during this fair, you are going to get one-on-one session with our practitioners, many little coaching readings with each one. And so Ashley is going to be at the fair, and she's going to be doing one-on-one relationship coaching. So you'll learn the basics on how to live a life full of confidence without relying on someone else to make you happy, how to set up healthy boundaries and show up for others. And this is just 4 out of the 30 workshop talks and one-on-one sessions that will be happening at SoulTreat. So as you can see, it's a whole well-rounded retreat that we're super excited about, and we hope that you will say yes to you this year. It is happening November 2nd and 3rd, so it's the end of 2019, so might as well end it on a big yes and a big bang for you. Anna, you still working over there?
I am just putting in the website so people can go and check it out.
Fantastic.
So,
don't go anywhere because we're about to announce our winner.
So we're about to pull a winner, and if you want to go and check out more about SoulTreat, that's the link, soultreat.com. And again, I just want to really drive home the importance of you opening up the space for yourself and connecting with heart-based facilitators that help you to release. Because as we've now uncovered and discovered through this session, it's not always what's on the surface. It's not even always what we may think is blocking us. It can be stuff that happened to us before. It can be something that happened to us when we were a child that is literally what holds us back, and we don't even realize it. And by having our energetic healers, as well as people who use more practical modalities for the different places that we want to see ourselves go in life, it really takes facilitation in a safe space with people whom we trust. And that's the thing. We're bringing over 30 people to you. And these 4 wonderful women are just 4 of the 30. In addition to just everyone else is going to be at SoulTreat with you and encouraging you and supporting you to be your best and to allow you the space to release in. I know that people walked away from the last SoulTreat where they changed their entire life. They literally went home, quit their job. Realin is a walking testament to that. So I just want to say, and I know Ricky is going to be coming to this SoulTreat, so thank you. It's really needed for us as healers and people who are in the wellness space, because we are coming together with like-minded and like-hearted people and able to share in a very loving space, and for everyone who's seeking to have a better life. So with that said, I just want you to really absorb that. If you're really looking to change your life, especially for 2020 to be different than it has been for the rest of the life you've lived up until now, it's really important for you to give this gift to yourself. It's happening in November, the 2nd and 3rd, if you're a Woo friend. And if you're a Woo World Changer, which is a practitioner of wellness, it's a 4-day retreat, and it's amazing. So with that said, we have a Woo Friend ticket to give away. That means if you're a Woo World Changer, we're sorry, we have a separate contest for you going on. But as a Woo Friend, you win a 2-day ticket, which is a $397 value to come and be with us. 2 days of workshops, 2 days of walking through the vortexes. Basically, those are the hikes in the red rocks with us. 2 days of doing yoga, 2 days with a poolside mixer, stargazing, and everything else. And we're talking about you are going to be in Jennifer's company, in Ashley's company, in Raylan's company, in Rosemary's company, in Sherry's company, and my company. I don't know if you want to be in my company all the time. I get a little grumpy. But we literally are there. What's that?
We don't get enough of you.
Oh, yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Here, though. This one in the yellow.
And we're sharing a room. We can't get enough of one another.
Thank you, Dr. Marianne. Thank you, Donna. So we're going to be, Donna, I wish we could do this weekly. So we're going to have another SoulTreat show coming up, and we'll be sending you all the link information. But just so you understand that this is a Woo Friend ticket. So if I call your name and you're a Woo World Changer, I'm sorry, you can't win this ticket. But I call the name Michelle M. Michelle M., are you a Woo World Changer, or are you not part of the Wellness Universe community? And are you here with me? Please chat, say yes in the chat box, and let me know if you are a Woo Friend, which means that you're not a practitioner. Okay, are you listed on the Wellness Universe as a Woo World Changer? Thanks,
Sorry,
Gloria.
since we don't have last names here, we can't recognize who everybody is. Okay.
Okay.
You would know if you're a world changer. Well,
right. If you would know if you're a world changer, you're so congratulations, Michelle. You won the ticket to come to Sedona with us. Now that covers the 2-day retreat, your lunch, and everything. However, you have to cover your own stay there. And we have a great discount rate for the Arabella Hotel. It's our partner hotel of choice. And if you go on the website, you'll find out more information about the Arabella Sedona. We loved it last time, and we're staying there again. All of us are going to stay there. And you'll have to get your own way of getting there. But the ticket for the retreat is yours, and I'll be reaching out to you to get more information from you. Congratulations. Congratulations.
So excited, Michelle. You are going to love it. Go
Yay.
over to the website, check out the itinerary, all the workshops and talks that are happening. We're so excited for you and can't wait. And we're huggers too, so hopefully we are. If not, we'll make you uncomfortable.
We are huggers.
We are.
Come with bubble wrap. You're going to get sore.
Awesome. All right. So what you'll want to do, Michelle, we'll connect with you after. If you can, we'll message you through the email that you registered here with us, and we'll be in contact with you so you can register for SoulTreat. And everybody else, we hope that you will join us. Go over to the website, check it out. We will be here next Wednesday for SoulTreat show episode 2, all about resetting. So join us next Wednesday. A special thank you to Jennifer, to Ashley, to Realin, and to Rosemary. We honor you. We thank you for giving us your heart, your souls, and your time, and your healing for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Love you so much. Can't wait to experience you all in person. And thank you, everyone who joined us live. And if you're watching the recording, thank you so much. And we hope that you got a lot out of this. And you can connect with any of our Wellness Universe World Changers, Jennifer, Ashley, Realin, and Rosemary, directly on thewellnessuniverse.com. See you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.